Hello there YouTube. This is a toy that I bought about 5 years ago. It is the Tiger 2 with the first turret they didn't use, I don't think. Anyway, I have revived it, or tried to revive it, but I'm having some problems. Now I really want to keep this one because I paid for metal tracks on this one. It cost me a fair bit of money at the time. Metal tracks and metal gear, but I'm having a problem. And the problem is with batteries. So what we're going to do is we're going to dispense with the old NiCads. How horrible these are. If you leave them for any amount of time, they go flat and you can't recover them. And we're going to replace them with lithium. So I'm going to do a lithium pack build to replace this. But I want to put a couple of sort of disclaimers in the way first. If you're doing any remote control stuff, be very careful. Get the right cells. I wouldn't use recycled cells for racing cars. They have specially built packs to cater for the extreme amount of power that some of the motors can pull, especially if they're brushless. So if you're playing with remote control cars, make sure that the power that the motor draws is not going to cause any damage to your batteries, and make sure the C rating is high enough to cater for that motor. But for this project, it will be certainly fine to reuse some lithium ion 18650s. So what we're going to do is going to do a 2S, 2P, 2 series, 2 parallel, and attach the relevant balance leads, which I have had in stock for a little while. And as you can see, there is 3 wires. Now I'm going to do this really simply, just as a starter, before I build a bigger pack, so that people can see how balanced these go, and a sort of basic tutorial on how things work. So I'm going to start off with a drawing. So we already know that this is going to comprise of 2 cells in parallel, 2 cells in series. So I'm just going to draw some lines. And I'm not going to do the battery symbol because I'm not. I'm just going to freehand this, and it's going to look pretty rubbish. Also at a funny angle, probably don't help. So anyway, we have positive, negative, positive, negative. And we're going to want 7.2 volts. Well, this is going to be just above 7.2 anyway. And it should be able to cope with higher voltage at the fully charged end. So we have power connectors to add on, don't we? So we're going to have now I've got a red pen. Right, there we go. So obviously we have a connection between here and here. I'm just going to do that by adding the line in. So if we go from negative to positive, we have 3.7, and if we measure from negative to the furthest positive, we have 7.4. So balance leads. In order to keep the balance leads or the cells in balance when charging, we'll use a set of these. Don't be deceived by these. Sometimes they have different colours, and sometimes they have different ways around. So in order to figure out which one is my positive, I'm going to stand up and get behind the camera so I can see what I'm actually doing. On this one, it fits in that way, and I have a minus VE. Oh no, hang on, I've got that wrong. It goes in that way. That's better. Minus V E is yellow, so that's your negative. Black will go in the middle, and red will go on the far positive. So if I lay this out, you'll see which way we're going to go with this. And I could do a fancy drawing on the computer, but I hate computers, so basically, if I get something to point with, yellow to negative, black to the central connection, and red to the positive. Ooh, black. That's a funny red, but it'll do. There you can see the basic idea of how this pack is going to look. So we just have to do some preparation work and see how we're going to do this. So I'm just going to set things up. Right, so there's several different ways you can do this. Some cells you can take straight out of a laptop battery pack or source and solder straight to. This isn't one of them. Sometimes, if you add a bit of flux, you can just about get a connection, but this is not very reliable. This is why I've taken to stripping the tops off and the bottoms off. This may actually have like a little lacquer on, which is stopping it from being adhered to by the solder. But normally I find the bottoms are quite alright. So we'll just wait for the solder line to warm up again. There we go. The bottoms tend to be alright, so if you want to take a shortcut or a quick way to getting the negative side soldered, they normally adhere pretty well. What I prefer to do is strip the top and the bottom, which is what we're going to do. Being extra careful on the positive side, because if you short between there and there, you're going to have a nasty surprise. And once again, if you do not feel confident doing this, don't attempt it. Get someone else to have a go. Side cutters seem to be my preferred tool of choice for doing this, as they don't damage the protective layer so much. Here we have two cells. I'm not going to do the other ones. What I'm going to do is carry on and clean them up and tin them ready for the next stage. Right, so my preferred method for the next stage is actually to clean up the tops and bottoms of these cells using a rotary tool and just the stone bit. See, this one's had quite a bashing already, but it does the job and it gives you a nice shiny surface which the solder can adhere to. So this is noisy, so I'm going to turn the sound down when I do this, and I'm going to not going to do narration. Right, so for this next part, what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of hot glue between the cells. And what I'm going to do is, and I'm actually going to do this as a flap folding configuration. So we know that the cells will not fit into the battery box underneath the RC tank like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solder a strip along there. And once obviously these two and these two are glued and this is soldered, I'm then going to fold that round and then just give it a dab more hot glue just to give it some rigidity. Well, that's a long word for this time in the morning. And then we'll have a point to place our balance lead at the end. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm just letting the hot glue gun warm up just a little bit longer. Or shall we go for it? Let's go for it. Okay, it has gone slightly out of alignment already. Oh, I tried. Let's do this second set. Oh, that's even worse. Okay. Oh dear, I don't know why I try these things so early in the morning. Don't seem to warm up until afternoon. That'll do. That'll do. Yeah. Okay, so next things. Oh dear. That's it, something like that. Right, okay. So I always prefer to put a little bit of flux on just in case there's any debris. Not that it's going to help get rid of the debris, it's just going to help the solder stick to any debris that's there. Okay, so obviously my chosen choice of connecting cells is solar tabbing wire, because I have a surplus of it after building some DIY panels earlier on my YouTube career. I'm going to try and use this one because I've got it charged up. The ISO tip, and I say thank you very much for being sent that. Didn't expect it. My only criticism at the moment is obviously it's 110 and we're 240 over here, and also if it just had like an on button where it could be on for say 5 minutes, because keeping your finger on this whilst you're trying to do soldering of any length or quantity is quite tiring actually. Other thing is, do not get any solder down these gaps and these holes. If you get any solder down these gaps, bin the cell or get it out of the house or put it in a bucket of sand as quickly as you can. I haven't done it myself, but I've heard horror stories on YouTube. And you want to try and make as little contact on the cell as possible to prevent any damage or any risk of explosion, because that's the last thing you want, is a cell exploding on you. One of the real difficulties I have whilst trying to shoot videos is trying to keep my hand out of the way of the camera and see what I'm doing at the same time. And not short things out. See, now I've let go of it, I need to warm it up for a bit. No. Right, okay, let's go over to my 12-volt soldering iron. Burnt my fingers. Have I got a screwdriver? I haven't. Just want a screwdriver just to hold that down whilst I solder it. Have I got anything? There we go. So I'm quite happy with that. That's gone quite well. So what will happen is I'll fold this over like that. They're still warm. The amount of times I burn my fingers doing this. We've got a little tab there just to solder the balance lead to. So let's add some hot glue onto this. Be generous. There we go. Now I need to sort out power connectors. I think I'm going from the negative side because my negative lead is shortest. Not sure. And then I can heat shrink this to the side, or heat shrink to join the leads. I had to cut this one back quite a way because the copper on this is quite naff, but I want to use this connector up. So right, let's undo the hot glue gun before it glues everything to the desk. It's quite rigid. Let's get rid of these other leads at the end. So continue with the flux. See if we can put you in shot better. That didn't go too well. That didn't go too well either. But we can always just add a little bit more solder. Onto there. Here we go. He's got it. And finally the top ones. Because I haven't done this square, it doesn't want to stand upright. It's causing me some troubles at the moment. A little bit of persuasion this last one. I have to block the shot. There we have it. Doesn't look as good as I imagined it in my head, but then again, nothing I do ever does when I put these cells together. These cells are at different states of charge, so I'm not expecting it to be perfectly on, dead on the money. So if we go from negative to middle, 3.75. If we go from middle to the far end, I've got wrong polarity, so ignore that, 3.66. And if we go end to end, 7.42. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm just going to snip the video in half here so I can start another chunk. Right, what I want to do before I connect the power leads is actually disconnect the balance leads and make sure it works. So let's do that. And I can't remember my drawing, so yellow goes to negative. Black goes to the middle. And red goes to the far end. Yeah, I'm going to remove these in a minute so I can put my power connectors on, so it doesn't matter too much. There we go. I'll push that up, plug this into the meter. We should get a reading. 7.46 volts. Cell 1 is 3.774, cell 2 is 3.695. Lithium ion, 42%. Lipo, 11%. Oh, we'll just ignore that, we don't really care. Basically, that's proof that I've got these leads in the right order. All I can do now is prepare the power connectors. I'm going to do that off camera because it's going to be fiddly as anything. And I'll come back when I've got it on charge. So I have got to move the battery pack around. It is not quite going to fit. I need to put some proper flexible stuff, cable on there, so I can move the connectors around to the side. Apart from that, it will fit. Because this battery has no protection on it, we're going to use one of these alarms. They go off when the voltage gets too low. I have actually been playing with it, but making sure all the controls work. So I want to put that somewhere where we can still see it. There we have it. The finished battery pack for now is tucked in there snugly. I've added a set of Dean's connectors because I haven't got any of the male plugs. I can't remember what they're called. Oh, my memory. And the voltage alarm is tucked down the side snugly. So now it's time to go and see if this works. Right, so the moment of truth. I did the first bit without the camera running. So if you couldn't tell, I class this isn't quite a good success. Didn't come out quite the way I planned it, but hey, that happens. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, comment, and rate, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.